Let's watch some crazy stuff, yo! Hey, wait a minute, Rick. I thought this was a commercial. What's going on?
Relax, Morty. Don't worry about it. Let's just see where this goes.
We're talking testosterone levels around the world, specifically the top 10 countries with the highest levels.
Should be interesting. Lots to unpack there.
Exactly. And we'll touch on the cultural, dietary, lifestyle, you name it, factors that could be contributing. Oh, and get this. Some of the countries on this list, you would not believe it.
Oh, I bet. Looking forward to that. And we'll sprinkle in some tips on how you can naturally support healthy testosterone levels through food, activity, habits, the whole 9 yards.
All right, let's get into it. We've got this top 10 list, hot off the press research, and let me tell you, it's full of surprises.
All right, hit me with it.
Okay, so number 1 is Uzbekistan, an average testosterone level of 772.
Wow, okay, setting the bar high.
Right.
Let's not let your heart. We're the real heroes.
You fucking...
We've got Croatia coming in at 752.
Okay, making sense so far.
But then
Okay.
Cameroon, 731, Azerbaijan, 694, and Mongolia, 693.
Whoa, hold on. Mongolia, that's a curveball. What's the deal there?
I know, right? I was floored. So, obviously, the million-dollar question is what's going on in these countries? What's contributing to these high levels?
Right. Well, it's tough to say for sure. Definitive answers, they're hard to come by. But we can definitely dig into some potential factors based on what we've got.
For sure. And of course, got to keep in mind, these rankings, they're based on the available data, which can vary study to study. And getting that individual testing across, well, diverse populations, it's a challenge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Big undertaking.
Okay, well, let's start with something we can all wrap our heads around, right? Food. I've got this list here. Testosterone-boosting foods and color me intrigued.
Food, definitely a cornerstone of hormone production. What do you have there?
Well, first up, oysters. Always thought of them as like a fancy appetizer, you know? But turns out they're more than just delicious. They're zinc powerhouses.
Ah, zinc, yes. Essential for testosterone production.
Okay, so what's the connection? Lay it on me.
Well, zinc plays a critical role in the actual production of testosterone. And oysters, they're chock full of it. Same with other shellfish, clams, mussels, that sort of thing.
Okay, got it. But not everyone's a seafood fan, right? What are some other good options?
Oh, for sure. Pumpkin seeds, for example, are a great source of zinc and much easier to snack on throughout the day.
So ditch the chips, grab some pumpkin seeds. Got it.
Exactly. A simple swap. Now, what else do you have on that list? I'm curious.
Let's see. Oh, a classic. Eggs and lean meats. So protein, right?
You got it. Protein's essential for building and repairing muscle tissue. And that process, closely tied to testosterone production.
Makes sense. And eggs, they bring vitamin D to the party too, right?
They do, which is another key player in hormone regulation.
Wow. It's crazy how these everyday foods, they can have such an impact.
It really is. Food's powerful stuff.
Speaking of, what about healthy fats? Where do they fit in?
Good question. Avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds, all fantastic sources of healthy fats. And those fats, they're crucial for hormone production, keeping everything running smoothly.
Got it. So no need to fear the fat as long as it's the good kind.
Exactly. Moderation is key, as always.
Okay, now this one threw me for a loop. Cruciferous veggies. You know, broccoli, cauliflower, that crew. They don't exactly screen testosterone to me.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so, would you? But they play a sneaky role.
Oh, do tell.
So they help reduce estrogen levels. And when estrogen's lower, testosterone has more room to work its magic.
Interesting. So it's like a balancing act?
Precisely. A hormonal dance, if you will.
All right, next up, something a little more appealing, shall we say, pomegranates. Not just delicious, but good for overall sexual health too, apparently.
That's right. There's some research suggesting that pomegranates can have a positive impact on testosterone levels and potentially even enhance sexual function.
Okay, now we're talking.
And of course, we can't forget the dynamic duo, ginger and garlic, adding a punch of flavor and some hormonal benefits too.
So what's their deal?
Well, ginger has been shown to potentially directly boost testosterone levels, and garlic, it contains allicin, a compound that can help lower cortisol, the stress hormone.
Right.
So when cortisol's in check, testosterone's got more freedom to do its thing.
It's like a symphony of flavors and hormones.
It really is.
All right. Gotta ask about this one. Dark chocolate, Please tell me it's good for testosterone.
You're in luck. Dark chocolate's a good source of magnesium. And magnesium, we know it's important for testosterone production. Plus, it's got antioxidants, protecting cells, supporting overall health.
Music to my ears.
Right. A little treat with benefits.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, food-wise, but it's just one piece of the puzzle, right?
Oh, absolutely. We've talked about the fuel. Now let's talk about how we put that fuel to work.
Exactly.
Right.
Lifestyle choices like, how we move, how we handle stress, those can have a big impact on our hormone balance. Okay, yeah. So it's not just what we eat, it's how we live too.
You don't know me, son.
Let's talk exercise.
Right.
I know it's good for us, generally, but what about specifically for testosterone?
Right. Well, regular physical activity, especially stuff that really challenges your muscles, promotes muscle growth, that can have a noticeable impact on testosterone levels.
So like hitting the gym.
Yeah, think strength training, high-intensity intervals, even just brisk walking, anything that gets those muscles working.
Okay, so it's not just about aesthetics then. It's about hormones too.
Exactly, it's all connected.
But what about, those of us who aren't exactly gym rats? Any other ways to get those benefits?
Oh, absolutely. You don't have to become a powerlifter or anything. The key is to find activities you enjoy, stuff you can stick with. Could be gardening, dancing, even a good walk in nature.
I like that. Getting those muscles moving no matter what.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about something that's, a bit of a struggle for a lot of us, right? Sleep. I mean, we've all had those nights where you just can't seem to switch off. But how does that actually affect testosterone?
Yeah, good question.
Well, when we're sleep deprived, our bodies pump out more cortisol. That's the stress hormone.
Right.
And remember, elevated cortisol can suppress testosterone production.
Like a seesaw. One goes up, the other goes down.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm guessing chronic stress probably doesn't help either, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
It's rough on the system. When we're constantly stressed, our bodies are in that fight or flight mode all the time. That leads to, you guessed it, chronically elevated cortisol and lower testosterone. It's a vicious cycle.
So bottom line, good sleep, stress management, key for keeping those hormones balanced. Makes sense. Okay, let's zoom out a little, look at the big picture. We've talked individual factors, but are there regional trends when it comes to testosterone levels?
Definitely. Some interesting patterns. Studies show that developed countries, they tend to report higher average testosterone levels compared to developing nations.
Interesting. Didn't expect that. Why do you think that is?
Well, a few theories. Could be diet. Developed countries, they often have better access to, protein-rich foods, more diverse diets, and as we've seen, that's pretty important for testosterone.
Yeah, that makes sense. More variety, more nutrients. What else?
Another theory is work. Developing countries, you see a lot more manual labor jobs, right? Which are demanding physically. That could lead to higher testosterone levels.
Ah, so like agriculture, construction, that kind of thing.
Exactly. So it's not just where you live, but what you do, how active you are.
All these pieces fitting together. Fascinating.
It really is a whole web of factors. Of course, more research is always needed to really nail down the specifics, but it highlights the link between biology, lifestyle, environment. All these things are talking to each other.
Speaking of fascinating, any other surprising tidbits from the research that jumped out at you?
A couple. One study, it found a possible connection between lower tobacco use and higher testosterone in some groups.
Oh, wow.
Life is good.
And another thing, we touched on obesity earlier, but it's worth digging a little deeper because it's not just bad for overall health, it can actually mess with testosterone production directly.
How so?
Excess fat, it can throw off your hormonal balance. Fat cells, they make this enzyme called aromatase. And that enzyme, it converts testosterone into estrogen.
So more fat, less testosterone, more estrogen.
Basically, yeah. Another reason why keeping a healthy weight is so important.
Yeah, it all comes back to that, doesn't it?
It does. It's all connected.
I'm starting to see that. It's not just these isolated factors. It's like this big picture and how everything affects everything else.
Precisely. And it's not about finding some magic bullet. It's about adopting a lifestyle that nourishes your body, your mind.
Okay, before we move on, I'm curious, what about the idea that lower testosterone could actually lead to weight gain? Not the other way around. It seems like a chicken or the egg situation.
Ah, that's a great point. Yeah, it's not always a straightforward cause and effect. So while excess fat can definitely lead to lower testosterone, having low testosterone can make it harder to shed those pounds, harder to build muscle. So yeah, it can create this cycle of weight gain.
Okay, that makes sense. It's complicated, right? And individual.
Exactly. Hormones, metabolism, they're all intertwined, and it's different for everyone.
Wow, I feel like we've covered so much. From, the global testosterone rankings to all these surprising connections with diet, exercise, even just our everyday habits. What's the biggest takeaway for you from all of this?
For me, it really drives home how interconnected everything is. Our bodies, the world around us, it's all linked. Testosterone levels, they're not just about genetics or, what you do at the gym. It's this whole web of factors.
Yeah.
What you eat, how you move, how you deal with stress, where you live, the kind of work you do, it all plays a role.
It's like our health isn't just about these little individual things, right? It's about building a lifestyle that supports, everything.
Exactly. And the best part is we have some control over a lot of these things. We can make choices about our diet, exercise, sleep, stress, and create an environment that supports healthy testosterone levels. And that ultimately supports our whole well-being, our vitality.
I like that. It's empowering. So as we wrap up this deep dive, any final thoughts, any questions you want to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, actually, thinking about those surprising countries on the top 10 list, like Cameroon, Mongolia, it makes you wonder, right? What can we learn from cultures, lifestyles that seem to naturally promote healthy testosterone? Maybe there's something in their traditional diets, their activities, even their social structures that we haven't really explored yet.
Yeah, you're right. It makes you think outside the box, Look beyond our own norms. There's always more to learn, that's for sure. Well, thanks for joining us on this global testosterone adventure. We hope it's given you some food for thought, maybe even some inspiration to make some positive changes.
Absolutely. It's been great diving deep into this with you. And remember, knowledge is power. The more we understand about our health, the better choices we can make.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and take care.